Become the person your dreams require. There is a version of you that already exists. Not in some distant future. Not in another life. Not in a fantasy world reserved for the lucky, the gifted, or the chosen. A version of you exists right now, hidden beneath the doubts, buried under the excuses, trapped beneath years of conditioning that convinced you to settle for less than what you were created to become. That person wakes up with purpose. That person moves with certainty. That person does not ask permission from the world to pursue greatness. That person does not wait for confidence before taking action. That person does not surrender when life becomes difficult. And deep down, whether you admit it or not, you know that person is real. Because every dream you've ever had is evidence of their existence. The dream was never the destination. The dream was the invitation. An invitation to transform. An invitation to grow. An invitation to become someone greater than you are today. Most people spend their entire lives staring at the dream. Very few become the person required to achieve it. That is the difference. The dream itself is rarely impossible. The challenge is becoming worthy of the dream. A seed does not become a tree overnight. A river does not carve through stone because it possesses extraordinary strength. It carves through stone because it continues. Day after day, moment after moment, year after year, the river becomes powerful because it refuses to stop. And your future will be shaped in exactly the same way. Not by a single decision. Not by one motivational video. Not by one lucky opportunity. But by the person you choose to become every single day. Look around. The world is filled with people waiting. Waiting for confidence. Waiting for certainty. Waiting for the perfect conditions. Waiting for someone to believe in them. Waiting for life to become easier. And while they wait, years disappear. Potential fades. Dreams evaporate. Possibilities die quietly in the shadows of hesitation. History has never belonged to the people who waited. History belongs to those who moved before they were ready. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before creating the light that would illuminate the modern world. Abraham Lincoln endured defeat after defeat before becoming one of the most influential leaders in history. Henry Ford was ridiculed for believing ordinary people could own automobiles. Walt Disney was told he lacked imagination. Imagine that. A man whose vision would inspire generations being told he lacked imagination. The world often misunderstands greatness before it celebrates it. Because greatness looks strange in the beginning. It looks uncomfortable. It looks uncertain. It looks risky. The dream inside you may not make sense to everyone around you. That is because it was not given to everyone around you. It was given to you. And the tragedy of life is not failure. The tragedy of life is spending years trying to convince yourself that your dream is too big, too unrealistic, too difficult, or too late. The greatest prison is not made of steel bars. It is made of limiting beliefs. Invisible walls built from fear. Fear of rejection. Fear of criticism. Fear of failure. Fear of success. Fear of becoming visible. Fear of discovering what you are actually capable of. Many people say they fear failure. But often what they truly fear is their own potential. Because potential comes with responsibility. The moment you realize what you could become, excuses lose their power. You can no longer hide behind circumstances. You can no longer blame the economy. You can no longer blame your past. You can no longer blame other people. You begin to understand that your future is being shaped by the standards you accept. And standards are everything. The quality of your life will rarely exceed the quality of your standards. People who demand excellence from themselves create extraordinary lives. People who tolerate mediocrity create ordinary results. It is never an accident. A farmer who plants wheat does not expect corn. A builder who uses weak materials does not expect a strong foundation. Yet many people fill their minds with doubt, distraction, negativity, and excuses, then wonder why their lives fail to produce greatness. The mind is fertile ground. Whatever you plant repeatedly will grow. Plant fear. You will harvest hesitation. Plant excuses. You will harvest regret. Plant belief. You will harvest action. Plant discipline. You will harvest achievement. Plant vision. You will harvest transformation. This is why every great achievement begins in the mind. Long before it appears in reality. Long before anyone else sees it. Long before there is evidence. The creator sees it first. The dreamer sees it first. The believer sees it first. Napoleon Hill understood something that many people still struggle to comprehend. The mind moves before the body. Every skyscraper existed in thought before it existed in concrete. Every invention existed in imagination before it existed in reality. Every empire existed in vision before it existed in history. The visible world is constantly being shaped by the invisible world. And the invisible world inside your mind is determining the direction of your future. That is why belief matters. Not because belief magically changes reality. Belief changes you. And when you change, your actions change. When your actions change, your habits change. When your habits change, your results change. People often underestimate the power of belief because they misunderstand it. Belief is not wishful thinking. Belief is not sitting in a room hoping life improves. Belief is the decision to act as though success is possible before there is evidence that it will happen. That requires courage. Real courage. Not the courage displayed when everything is working. The courage displayed when nothing is working. The courage to continue when results are invisible. The courage to trust the process when progress appears slow. The courage to hold the vision when reality tries to convince you otherwise. Anyone can believe after success arrives. Champions believe before it arrives. That is why clarity becomes essential. You cannot become what you cannot see. A ship without a destination drifts. A person without a vision wanders. Most people know what they want to escape. Very few know what they want to create. They want to escape debt, escape stress, escape disappointment, escape frustration. But greatness is never built through escape. Greatness is built through creation. You must see the future so clearly that it begins pulling you forward. You must develop a vision so compelling that distractions lose their power. Because make no mistake, the modern world profits from distraction. Every notification, every interruption, every meaningless comparison, every endless scroll, every wasted hour, they are all competing for the most valuable asset you possess: your attention. And whatever captures your attention eventually shapes your destiny. Because attention becomes focus. Focus becomes action. Action becomes habit. Habit becomes character. Character becomes destiny. The question is not whether you are building a future. The question is what kind of future you are building. Because every day, whether intentionally or unintentionally, you are constructing the person you will become. Every decision matters. Every hour matters. Every habit matters. Every thought matters. The future is not arriving someday. The future is being created right now. In the choices you make when nobody is watching. In the discipline you demonstrate when motivation disappears. In the promises you keep to yourself when quitting feels easier. That is where transformation begins. Not in the spotlight. Not on the stage. Not after recognition arrives. But in the quiet moments when you choose growth over comfort. Because comfort is seductive. Comfort whispers. Comfort persuades. Comfort tells you that tomorrow is a better time to begin. Comfort tells you that average is acceptable. Comfort tells you that effort is optional. And if you listen long enough, comfort will slowly steal the life you were meant to live. Every extraordinary person eventually reaches a moment where they must choose comfort or growth, safety or possibility, excuses or responsibility, the known or the unknown. And every great story begins when someone chooses growth. Because growth demands change. And change demands sacrifice. The person you are today cannot always carry you to the future you desire. Some habits must die. Some beliefs must die. Some excuses must die. Some identities must die. You cannot become someone new while desperately clinging to who you used to be. Transformation requires release. The old version of yourself must make room for the new. And that process is rarely comfortable. But neither is staying the same. The pain of growth lasts a season. The pain of regret lasts a lifetime. The pain of regret follows people into old age. It sits quietly beside them as they wonder what might have happened if they had trusted themselves. If they had started sooner. If they had persisted longer. If they had believed a little more. If they had been willing to become uncomfortable in pursuit of something extraordinary. Do not allow your future to become a museum of abandoned possibilities. Do not become someone who spends decades explaining why they never acted. Because explanations never build dreams. Action does. The world is filled with intelligent people who never achieved what they were capable of achieving. Not because they lacked talent. Not because they lacked opportunity. But because they lacked commitment. Commitment is what separates interest from obsession. Anyone can be interested. Interested people act when conditions are convenient. Committed people act regardless of conditions. Interested people stop when obstacles appear. Committed people become stronger because obstacles appear. Interested people want success. Committed people decide success is necessary. There is a profound difference. A fire that burns only when the weather is perfect will never survive a storm. The fire inside you must become stronger than your circumstances. Stronger than your mood. Stronger than your fear. Stronger than your temporary disappointments. Because life will test you. Not once. Not twice. Again and again. The test is not designed to destroy you. The test is designed to reveal you. Pressure reveals character. Adversity reveals belief. Difficulty reveals commitment. When everything is easy, everyone appears confident. When everything is uncertain, true leaders emerge. Think about the strongest steel. It is forged in extreme heat. Think about the diamond. It is created under extraordinary pressure. Think about every remarkable human being who ever changed history. None of them avoided hardship. They were shaped by hardship. The struggle became the classroom. The obstacle became the teacher. The setback became the preparation. And the same principle applies to your life. Every challenge contains a lesson. Every disappointment contains information. Every failure contains instruction. The question is whether you possess the humility to learn. Many people experience failure. Few people study failure. That is why they repeat the same mistakes. Failure itself is rarely fatal. Refusing to learn from failure is. Thomas Edison famously viewed unsuccessful attempts not as defeat but as discovery. Each attempt revealed something valuable. Each setback moved him closer to the solution. That perspective changes everything. Because the moment you stop viewing obstacles as enemies, they become assets. The moment you stop viewing challenges as punishments, they become opportunities. The moment you stop viewing failure as final, you become unstoppable. A person who learns from every experience cannot truly lose. They either win or they learn. And learning compounds. Just like wealth. Just like relationships. Just like influence. Every lesson builds upon the last. Every insight creates leverage. Every challenge develops capacity. Over time, the person who refuses to stop learning becomes dangerous to limitation. Dangerous to mediocrity. Dangerous to excuses. Dangerous to every obstacle standing between them and their vision. This is why successful people often appear lucky. The world sees the result. The world rarely sees the preparation. The world sees the victory. The world rarely sees the years of invisible work. The world sees the harvest. The world rarely sees the seasons of planting. People look at successful entrepreneurs, athletes, creators, leaders, and visionaries and assume they discovered a shortcut. But greatness rarely comes through shortcuts. It comes through consistency. The small actions repeated over time. The disciplines maintained when nobody applauds. The standards upheld when nobody notices. Success is often boring before it becomes extraordinary. It is waking up early, reading one more page, practicing one more hour, improving one more skill, making one more phone call, taking one more step, day after day, week after week, year after year, until one day the world calls you an overnight success. The irony is remarkable. People celebrate the moment they can see. They ignore the years they could not. The mountain appears impressive because nobody witnessed every step of the climb. But the climb created the summit. And your future is being built exactly the same way. Every disciplined action is a vote. A vote for the person you wish to become. Every time you choose growth over comfort, you cast a vote. Every time you choose focus over distraction, you cast a vote. Every time you choose responsibility over excuses, you cast a vote. The question is simple. Who are you voting for? The weaker version of yourself? Or the stronger version waiting to emerge? Because both versions exist. Every day they compete for control. One seeks comfort. The other seeks greatness. One seeks convenience. The other seeks purpose. One seeks immediate pleasure. The other seeks lasting fulfillment. And the winner is determined by repetition. Not intention. Not desire. Not potential. Repetition. What you repeatedly do becomes who you eventually are. That truth is both terrifying and liberating. Terrifying because it eliminates excuses. Liberating because it places power back into your hands. You may not control every circumstance. You may not control every outcome. You may not control every challenge. But you control your response. And your response determines your future. There is tremendous power in accepting responsibility. Not blame. Responsibility. Blame focuses on the past. Responsibility focuses on the future. Blame asks, who caused this? Responsibility asks, what can I do now? Blame weakens. Responsibility strengthens. The moment you accept responsibility for your life, you stop waiting for rescue. You stop waiting for ideal conditions. You stop waiting for permission. You become the author instead of the victim. And authors create. Victims react. Authors build. Victims complain. Authors adapt. Victims surrender. The difference is not circumstance. The difference is mindset. And mindset is one of the most valuable assets you will ever possess. Because your mindset determines what you see. Two people can experience the same event and walk away with entirely different futures. One sees limitation. The other sees opportunity. One sees proof that life is unfair. The other sees proof that growth is necessary. One becomes bitter. The other becomes stronger. The event is identical. The interpretation is different. And interpretation creates reality. Not reality itself, but the reality you experience. That is why gratitude becomes such a powerful force. Gratitude is not weakness. It is not denial. It is not pretending problems do not exist. Gratitude is the ability to recognize possibility even while facing difficulty. The ability to recognize blessings even while pursuing improvement. The ability to remain grounded while reaching higher. Many people postpone gratitude until success arrives. But gratitude is often what attracts success. Not through magic, through perspective. Grateful people see opportunities others overlook. Grateful people recognize resources others ignore. Grateful people maintain energy while others lose hope. And energy matters. Because achievement requires sustained effort. You cannot build an extraordinary life with a depleted spirit. You cannot pursue greatness while constantly focusing on everything that is wrong. Your attention determines your emotional state. And your emotional state influences your actions. Protect your mind. Guard it carefully. Not because the world is evil. Because the world is noisy. Thousands of voices competing for influence. Thousands of opinions competing for authority. Thousands of distractions competing for attention. If you are not intentional about what enters your mind, someone else will decide for you. And eventually your thoughts become borrowed. Your beliefs become borrowed. Your ambitions become borrowed. Your life becomes borrowed. Do not allow that to happen. Think independently. Question limitations. Challenge assumptions. Develop your own vision. Trust your ability to grow. Because growth is one of the most remarkable realities of human existence. You are not fixed. You are not finished. You are not trapped. You are not limited to who you were yesterday. The person reading these words today possesses abilities that did not exist 5 years ago. Knowledge that did not exist. Experiences that did not exist. Wisdom that did not exist. Growth has already transformed you. And it can continue transforming you for the rest of your life. The danger is not that you cannot grow. The danger is that you stop trying. The danger is becoming comfortable with stagnation. The danger is accepting a smaller life than the one you are capable of creating. Because the moment you stop growing, something inside you begins to fade. Not immediately. Gradually. Silently. Almost invisibly. Until one day you realize you have been surviving instead of living. Existing instead of creating. Watching instead of participating. And deep within your soul, you know you were made for more. Not more possessions. Not more status. Not more approval. More purpose. More impact. More contribution. More growth. More life. Because true success is never only about what you gain. It is about who you become while pursuing it. Money can be lost. Titles can disappear. Recognition can fade. But character remains. Wisdom remains. Discipline remains. Integrity remains. And those qualities become the foundation for everything else. The strongest people are not always the most talented. Often they are simply the most disciplined. They learned how to keep promises to themselves. They learned how to act despite emotions. They learned how to move despite fear. They learned how to continue despite uncertainty. And eventually, consistency gave them what intensity never could. A life built on strength instead of impulse.